sorry. Good morning, Ohana. I saw you dancing. I'm like, I can do that too. Do the wave. Do the wave. Good morning, everybody.
I like that. You were awesome, spectacular, and so darn special.
Well, I was going to put something else, and I figured, well, no, that would right.
That's
That would just cancel out my. I'm over here and I'm looking at Tasha and I'm thinking, Tasha, why are you awake? Are the kids up? Could you not sleep? Deb, y'all know Deb? You know my sis Deb, my lovely sister Deb. And you want to say good morning to everybody?
Morning.
Deb, so Deb is really, really tired. She is the YouTube queen. She was the YouTube queen the last, I'm going to say 2 weeks, because you really didn't get a break between your lives and filling in for everybody. And then
I took a break on Tuesday.
Right. And then we've had the discords in between. So she's been visiting with family a lot. She's been. So I'm going to say good morning. Good morning, Annette and Joe. Good morning, Deb. Good morning, Joy T. Good morning, Joyce K. Good morning, Awkward Quilter. I think I said good morning, Joy T. I'm surprised any of you are awake this early. Good morning, Teresa Lynch.
Tasha says, stupid o'clock.
Good morning, Andrea and Zaza and Jess, the woman who never sleeps.
Oh, no, Zaza has her topped.
Oh, true. Zaza never sleeps. All right.
Jess just doesn't get too much sleep, but at least when she goes to sleep, she sleeps.
And good morning, if there are any lurkers out there. Glad that you could join us. I hope you're at least getting some sewing done or a cup of coffee in you.
Oh, Annette's got her coffee.
This is my third cup, y'all. Third cup.
This is number 2.
They were up early, just chatting away on
Discord
this morning. There's a lot of ladies who do not sleep. A lot of ladies.
Well, Roscoe got Joydy up.
Mm-hmm.
And Zaza just don't sleep in the bed. She sleeps in her chair.
So I don't think my dog, I normally wake up and let him out. And he's a big dog. You know, he's a German Shepherd. So I can let him stay outside by himself and with his brother, his outside brother, all night long, because he's going to protect the house. But his habit is he always comes.
And that says, does 16 ounce at one time count as 1 cup or 2?
2. It comes to 2. Isn't a serving a 6 ounce?
8.
Is it 8 ounce? Okay. Yeah, I guess 8 plus 8 is 16. Duh.
My cup holds a cup and 3/4 to 2 cups.
So I think Annette might actually have me beat. I've had 24 ounces, or I'm working on my 24 ounces. I can't do math this morning, this early. I can never do math.
See, Joydy says that she's been up since 2 and he's still snoring away.
Tasha, that's right. If it fits in 1 cup, it's 1 cup.
There you go. Because every time my husband says, "Oh my God, you drink a whole pot of coffee," and I'm like, "This is only my second cup."
Yes. Yes.
And
Oh,
he bought this great big cup for me.
y'all will be proud of me. I made it to Williams Live last night. Um, I wasn't there long, but I made it to wasn't it last night that I made it to their live? I was so tired when I went to bed. Was it last night? Didn't they have their live? William have his live yesterday? I don't remember.
Yeah, yeah. Him and Jess, and then Rita showed up too. I left not long after Rita went up there.
No, I didn't see Rita, so I made it in and went out.
Yeah.
I was listening to Elfish before that, and they do long lives. They do 3
Oh
hours.
yeah, 3-4 hours. Yeah.
So I was listening to Elfish last night, catching up on one of theirs, and then I was catching up on somebody else's video. And it's the weirdest thing. It's like I'm getting all these, I don't know what YouTube is doing with their algorithm, but I'm getting all these old YouTube
Yeah.
shorts from
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah. Old videos too.
Yeah, it's like popping up in my feed, and I got one from Mona. I'm like, well, I saw that
Yeah,
before.
and it was a year ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, you get excited because you see these things popping up, and it's like, oh, but I saw that,
Mm-hmm.
saw that, did that, done that. Joyce said the cats woke her up. They
Zaza
thought,
says it's 1 cup if you pour it at one time.
hmm.
uh,
The fish guys are funny. They are, and so is it Jeffrey that remembers everything?
yeah.
Is okay. And I was listening to him, and I do adjust thing because there are so many YouTube videos out there I want to catch. I play it at the maximum playback rate. So there's you can play back at a 3, 3 times the speed, and I hear blah 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 blah. But they're very slow. And then I heard them say, "Well, Jeff is the one that remembers everything. He remembers all the details and stuff." And I'm thinking, "That's Deb. That's Deb.
Yeah.
Deb remembers everything." And I don't know how she does it.
Well, and if I don't know it at the time, like last night, we watched a brand new show with Kevin Bacon called The Bondsman and his mom. I'm sitting there going, I know her. Where do I know her from? And of course, my husband was doing the same thing about his son. I said, well, I don't know the son. And then I went to the bathroom and I came back and I said, she played in Tremors with him. She wasn't his mom. She was one of the residents of the town there. And then he's like, oh, yeah.
Which Tremor? The one that Reba McEntire? Wasn't Reba McEntire on one of the Tremor shows or something?
Yeah, she was in them. But this lady was in the original one.
We are watching this show about the Happy Face Killer. I think it's the Happy Face Killer, and I think we're watching it on Amazon, not Netflix. And it's supposed to be a true story, and that one's kind of weird. And just it didn't give me the option to play theirs on 4 because some of them I do. I play back really, really quickly, and after a while, your ears just get adjusted and your brain adjusts, so you can absorb all the information.
Uh-huh.
Especially on some people who have 5-hour lives, and you're trying to support them.
Well, and then during the show, there's this girl singer, right?
Mhm.
And I'm looking at her going, I know who that is. I know who that is. And Kelly's like, well, yeah, she looks familiar, but I don't know. And I said, she's a country singer. I said she was in a band, and then it went down to 2 people, and then she went out on her own. And now she's doing acting. And I sat there and sat there and sat. Finally, it hit me. It was Jennifer Nettles from Sugarland.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. She's playing his ex-wife on that show.
And what is this called, and where is it at? Where is it at again?
The Bondsman.
And where is it playing at?
I think it's on Prime.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check it out. We have been really
brand new. It just came out April 3rd.
My husband likes this new movie that came out, and it's called Mobland or something.
Yeah, that's a new one. Yeah.
Yeah, he really likes that. We only watched the first episode. We've been watching 1923. I don't think Spencer's ever going to make it home.
I don't think so either.
Because, but it was good. It was good. And
the thing with this Bondsman, each episode is only 30 minutes long, 28 minutes, 30 minutes. So we watched 4 of the episodes last night.
Well, Katie was up watching. I saw on Discord where Katie was up. She never went to bed. And I think it was like at 2:30 in the morning. I'm not sure what time zone Katie is on. But they were up watching Bosch last night, Bosch last night.
Yeah, Bosch. It's the last season for Bosch.
Mm-hmm. So she was up late watching Bosch.
See, Zaza watched Bondsman last night.
I'm going to have to check that out. My husband would probably like it. Andrea thought we were talking about husbands.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about husbands. Y'all heard my husband yesterday. I don't know if you heard him when he was in here. Handing me some fabric.
My husband didn't think that I would watch The Bondsman because he's like a bounty hunter type thing, and he's going after all these demons that got away from hell. And they're up on Earth, and so he's the bounty hunter for him.
Oh, well, I might like that.
I told my husband, I says, what do you mean? I watch the demon movies. I said, I've watched Omen and Rosemary's Baby. I started naming them all off, and I said, oh, and The Exorcist.
Judy.
You won't even watch. He says, I watched it one time, and he says, I'll never watch it again. He says, that woman scared me to death, and her head went, mew.
It's also said, Lisa, he was not a happy bunny wanting his dinner. No, and I got to play nice. I told you all, I got to play nice for a little while. I actually have to cook for him because he gave up the oven for a little while.
Yeah. Good morning, Judy.
Good morning. But yes, so there are some shows that my husband watches that I just have no interest in.
Yeah.
Like the whole FBI series, you watch one of the FBI episodes, then you've watched all the FBI episodes. I mean,
I like the original FBI. I'm not into the other ones anymore because the main character has switched. Because that actor left the show and they replaced him, and I don't like who they replaced him with, so I don't watch those anymore. I only watch the original one.
It's amazing how you build bonds with characters, and when they leave the show, and especially when the character meets an untimely demise, so you know that they're never going to make an appearance again. That's kind of sad. There's one show that I will never watch because the main character was no longer there, and the show just never seemed the same without him. Oh, it is Criminal Minds. In Criminal Minds.
Oh yeah, I watched that faithfully when it was first on.
Well, when Spencer didn't come back the second time around because I loved the Spencer character,
Yes.
when Spence didn't come back on, I couldn't watch the new one, The Revolution or whatever it's
See,
called.
I had a hard time after Mandy Patinkin left,
Yeah, well, they
but I
said
still stuck with it until
mhm.
Spencer left.
Yeah, so that was a sad thing. Um, and
Zaza
so
says, Lisa, yes, you do after your recent purchase. At least a week of pretending to be a dutiful wife.
gotta clean the house. Gotta rub his feet if he asks me to. I'm very appreciative. I've got a good husband. Um,
I have that one recorded, Zaza, but I haven't watched it yet.
what the NCI's NCI?
Yeah,
I
the
actually
original
like
one.
I actually like that one, but I can't get in my mind how the main character even looks like, well, I won't say anything because you haven't watched it yet.
Oh, that's okay. Well, originally his real life son was going to play the part of him
Oh,
being young.
uh-huh.
Well, then when it came out, he wasn't in it.
Yeah, I don't know why because that main character, he doesn't even look like Mark Harmon. There's no it,
Andrea says, I build bonds with characters, especially my favorite YouTube characters like y'all.
we're characters, all right. So we're characters. It's Mark Harmon that does the narrating. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, but that main character, it's like, well, did Mark Harmon go through some facial reconstruction
yeah.
between the time origins? Because my mind just can't put the characters together.
No, they need to pick actors that look a lot like the
Yes,
original, if that's what they're doing.
and not do all that CGI editing to make them look younger. Where it takes away all the wrinkles and makes them look younger, but they look fake.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hmm.
Candace. How are you? And one of the things I noticed, and I don't know, and I don't even know why we're talking about movies and TVs.
Hey, Jonathan, how are you?
Hi, Jonathan. Didn't see you sneak in there.
He snuck in right after Candace.
So, did you notice that all the more senior actors, they are really having a comeback on streaming?
They're
So,
having a comeback and they look really old.
But there but it is nice to see somebody who you recognize, who you grew up
Yes,
with
yes,
watching, playing these really, really good characters. I mean,
yeah.
they have so much experience that their character development is really good. What's her name? Mirren, the one that's in 1923.
Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren is playing two separate characters in the 1923 series, and then she's in that Mobs or Mobland or whatever. And it's two separate characters, and she's believable in both characters. So you
I
can
know
watch
they're old, Zaza, but they're supposed to still be young because in my brain they're still the age that I used to watch them.
the new Matlock is good too. I like the new Matlock. There's some things going on though. I watched the last episode and there's some things going on and sometimes I think they try to draw out a plot too long, kind of like 1923, and I said Spencer's never going to make it home, but they draw it out too much and you just want it to move at a faster pace.
Yeah, yeah,
And that guy that does all the 1923s in that movie, those TV shows,
yeah.
he has a tendency to have like 4 or 5 plots going on at the same time.
Yes, yes.
And so you spend 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes there, and you're wondering, well, how do they connect? Zaza, you're not sure about, like, I like Matlock. I like the new Matlock. My husband can take it or leave it.
I've
Elspeth.
seen one episode and I was not impressed with it. So I just let y'all go on about it and I just don't say nothing.
Yeah, well, we don't. We're all different. We don't all have to like the same things. I
Yeah, I
won't.
just don't say nothing.
I don't watch Blood and Gore and Zaza. There was a show, what, back in the 80s, that was called Arachnid. You remember?
Yeah.
Arachnid and all them spiders and stuff that just attacked people.
I could not watch it. No. Joyce is right. Someone who's changed the most is Russell Crowe. But he had that facelift done too.
Oh,
Didn't
did
he?
he?
Didn't he? Oh no, I'm thinking Mickey Rourke. Never mind.
Oh yeah, Mickey Rourke had that.
Mickey Rourke looks bad.
He is sometimes I think men just need to grow old.
Yeah, they look so much better if they just grow old and let the hair go gray, you know.
Well, I look at my husband and we're just a couple months apart and I'm saying he looks so good for his age. And here I sit in the mirror thinking, okay, what needs to be lifted? What needs to be tucked? What needs to be
Yeah,
just, remember the old days where they just put that whole powder puff on their face?
yeah. Tasha's back. She had to go grab her 1 cup of coffee, which is definitely more than 1 cup.
Oh, but yes, Elsbeth. I love Elsbeth. And I like the character actors that she's bringing in. Some of the older actors that are recognizable that you haven't seen in a while, and they played these
Yeah.
oddball characters.
Zaza is like George Clooney.
Oh, Zaza said, I remember the film Arachnophobia. I can't watch that one. Mm. And I cannot watch any movie where you have to survive in water with sharks.
Yeah, no.
Because one of my biggest fear is flying or being on a boat, and I can't swim. But being the only survivor out there, with a gushing wound, surrounded by sharks, and it's like,
Yeah.
why couldn't it have been quick and easy?
You know, the thing though is I really love the Jaws movies.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Well,
I watch all of them all the time. Every time they're on, I'm watching them. And my husband says, aren't you tired of that movie yet? How many times are you going to watch that this week?
Jaws is okay. Jaws was a little scary, but I had never seen any white sharks when I lived I never saw great whites, and I know there must have been out there somewhere in the ocean, but I never saw one. So that wasn't too bad. But I have seen cornfields, okay? I'm covered with cornfields in the springtime and the summer. And I do not like going into those corn mazes. Oh, there's a child in there. There's a
Yes.
child in
There's always a
there.
child in there. Or a clown. One of
Oh
those
no.
two.
Oh no, I can't do clowns.
And
Well,
it's always an evil clown.
I can do clowns if it is red skeleton clowns.
Yes, yes.
I cannot do those circus clowns. Don't like. Oh, Annette
He
likes
it
it all.
says her husband watches all that conspiracy theory stuff and it drives her crazy. So she puts on her headset and listens to her YouTube faves and sows.
Who's that?
Sometimes, Andrea, sometimes he turns up his TV and drowns out what I'm watching. And she's got headphones on.
I love conspiracy theories. I love now that the government has come out and said, yes, there are what they don't call them UFOs anymore. They call them, what is it that they call them now?
I don't know.
Well,
I see UFOs.
they have a new name for it.
Yep,
So
they change names on everything so that you don't remember all the other stuff.
hi Melanie. Good morning, Barry.
Melanie.
Barry, what are you doing awake? Good morning, Dawn. How are you?
Annette says Jaws is intense. It's really good. Love it. I watch all four of them. I watch a marathon every time I watch them. Good morning, Dawn.
So one of the series that I like is the I don't function well in the morning, Deb. I don't understand why you don't read my mind and just
Zaza says her husband always watches the plane crash investigations before we go on holiday.
hi Pete Pablo. How are you? Thank you for joining the stream. What
Good
it oh
morning, Gary.
the Transformer movies. I love Transformers. I love to watch the Transformer movies.
No, I'm not into that.
Yeah, I like Transformers. I like all that big I, I like that type of action and I love old westerns. Oh my gosh, give me an old western. I love an old western.
Good morning, Pete. Do you know Pete? I don't know Pete.
I don't know Pete, but
I don't know Pete.
as long as Pete is respectful, Pete is
Yep.
welcome.
The only Pete I know is Scratch and Pete PA.
But he's not. Yeah, he's not Pedro.
No. Final Destination has a new one coming out.
I don't know how many destinations they've taken them because some of them actors are kind of old. Kind of old. Yeah.
I saw the first one and I didn't watch anymore.
And what was that dude that he scared me? The one with the big old metal claws. You know, that attacked you in your dreams.
Oh, that was Freddy Krueger.
Oh my gosh! Good morning.
Nightmare on Elm Street. I watched the first one of that and I never saw any more.
Oh my gosh, he scared me.
He scared me. He scared me. Jason scared me. Chucky. I cannot stand Chucky.
Oh, Chucky is just evil. Whoever Chucky's just evil.
And my sister-in-law that comes on here, she sent me a clip of Chucky and he was chasing at me. And I'm like, oh my God. I actually screamed when I saw that one.
Oh, Tasha. So let me tell you this story, okay? Trucks with logs. You should be scared of them and you should be respectful of them because I don't even know if she's still alive. But there was a woman that we personally knew, an older woman that we personally knew, who was behind a log truck. And the log truck, she was an older woman, so she gave a lot of distance. There was a lot of distance. The log truck took off. She could not go on the side. It was a one way, and when she took off, a log loosened and hit her in the windshield wiper coming in. And she had to go to the hospital. Thankfully, it was not a lot of damage, but she actually got a log that stopped right in front of her face. They said that if it had gone one more inch, it would have smashed into her skull.
Oh.
Yeah. Log trucks are scary to me too.
Andrea says she loves anything with Sam Elliott in it, and I discovered some I had never seen before when he was a young man. I thought I had seen everything he was ever in. I really loved him in Lifeguard. Oh my God. That was in the 70s. And then, of course, him and Tom Selleck were brothers on... there was a movie about it. One was a Yankee and one was a rebel, and they fought for the different sides.
I'll have to think on that one. So they're all loving on Sam Elliott again.
Oh yeah.
Tasha is staying 50 million miles away from Log.
Zaza says Freddy Krueger traumatized her when she was only about 9, when her big brothers made her watch that while babysitting her. They never babysat again. I
Mm.
was older.
Um,
I was older when I first saw Freddy.
I was older too. I think I was 19 when I first saw Freddy, and it scared me. And who was it? Joy T said that she lived on Elm Street and there was a Freddy.
She says she grew up on Elm Street and Freddy lived across the street.
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
No, there ain't no way.
mm-mm. But there's some good movies, and I'm glad that they're starting to make good TV shows because there for a while, the movies were horrible, just horrible. All those remakes because nobody was imaginative or
Barry loves Megan Fox.
she was cute back when, but she was well, yeah. Megan was cute, kind of like what is that other actress, the one that used to do all them love things with Tom Hanks? Megan,
Meg Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan. Yeah, Meg Ryan used to be really cute too.
Yeah, but she had Botox done too.
Yeah, and that just really ruined her.
That ruins everything. Jess says Nightmare on Elm Street is based off a town in upstate New York.
Mm. Oh, and what movie was it that? And it wasn't Omen. It was about the house that was possessed. You know, what movie was it? Because I think it was back in the 70s.
Amityville.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that freaked me out. Now when I walk into old homes, it's like, is there anybody there? Is anybody talking to me?
Good morning, Melanie. Hi, Giovanna.
Yes. Good morning, Giovanna. Frat bros love telling freshmen about that. But yes, Amityville really scared me too. And if you live, well, if you drive anywhere in the country, if you get out in the city and you go to these old country homes, there are some spooky homes that
Yeah.
are abandoned. And you
Mhm.
look at them and you're like,
You
something
look
like,
at them and you see a face.
yes,
Windows and
yes,
stuff.
yes.
Candace says her daughter looked like Chucky when she was a toddler.
Oh,
Oh, Candace, I wouldn't have been babysitting her, let me tell you.
so, Candace,
Melanie stayed up till midnight.
so did you get one of those comments? Isn't that a special baby? Not a cute baby, pretty baby. Oh, isn't that a special? Or if you're in the South, bless her heart.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll watch,
Good
Jess will
morning,
watch.
Jim.
Good morning, Sandy. Oh,
Hey,
so,
Sandy. You know, I never saw The Shining. I've only seen clips from the trailers for that. That's it.
I don't remember if I saw The Shining. If I did, it didn't make.
The Shining's where he's after Shelley Duvall and he's got that
Oh,
knife and he goes through the door.
the only thing I remember is, honey, I'm home.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. And that's right. Women look so much better if they just let themselves age naturally and gracefully.
Mm-hmm.
Like me.
Well, and we're all going to get old sometime, and I don't know one day in Discord, I'll tell y'all something about all these fillers and everything else, and what happens when you age. Many of you nurses out there know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, oh no, ventriloquist dummies. I don't like them either.
No,
Oh,
Oh, Giovanna says her mom's house was haunted when she was a kid. Good morning, Miss Sandy.
so you all know, because I've mentioned it, that I was raised by Puerto Ricans. And is my mic cutting out?
No.
Okay. If my mic is cutting out, let me know. Everything should be plugged in. It could be my voice. But
Yeah,
y'all know,
we did a lot of talking yesterday.
yeah, I did. I did. Oh, Sherry is going to be on the live today with Mona and us. That should be saving my voice. But what was I? Well, oh, I was raised by Puerto Ricans, and the Puerto Rican family I grew up with was very superstitious. And we were told anytime a door would open or close on its own, well, if it would open on its own, you were supposed to just very nicely say, "Can you please close the door on your way out so the spirit could pass through?" And many times that door closed. So what it is, I don't know, but my grandmother, my Puerto Rican grandmother used to tell me that the spirits are trying to make it home, get through, and you have to be nice to them.
Mm.
Just saying. So when
Mm.
I see a spooky house, and I saw that Amityville movie, and I remember
No, I sit there and I scream at it going, don't go in the basement.
why are you running towards the only place you
Yeah.
can't escape from?
Candace says her little girl was adorable. It was the red hair, size, and doll facial features.
Oh.
Sorry, I still wouldn't have babysat her.
Oh. Now, Tasha, now that's a baby. No, that's a baby. Um, it, I think most babies are cute. Some of
Yeah.
them just have to grow into their body, like my daughter.
It's funny because my husband was a nurse.
Hmm.
And every time we have a grandkid, of course, everybody's going, oh, aren't they just so cute? And right after they're born, he says, no, they're ugly. They look like aliens. He says you got to wait until their head rounds out.
When my daughter I was in the delivery room for 2 out of my 3 grandchildren because my daughter had C-sections.
Zaza says my friend's baby was really ugly. She looked like a baby orangutan. People used to look in the pram and go, oh.
My daughter looked like a spider monkey. When she was born, she looked like a spider monkey. She had this tiny little head, this long little body, and these long, because she was a preemie. Well, she was 3 weeks early, but she was really long. Her legs and arms were really long, but she looked like a little spider monkey. That's all I can say.
Tasha says Barbara Walters always said to just say, now that's a baby. And that's what I do when a baby is not cute.
Your mom used to talk to them. Sandy, I'm going to put my email in let me see if I can grab it. You can talk, Deb. I'm going to see if I can grab that Discord link.
Dawn says, I was alone in the house and heard someone sneeze.
So if Jonathan is still here, we can just do ghost story.
There you go. Melanie says she finished the quilt she was working on.
Hold on 1 second. Can y'all still hear me? I'm trying to grab
Yeah.
that link.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
And let me copy that link. Copy. I think sometimes that those links expire.
Oh, it says
Just
invite invalid.
it could be that the link expired. Every
Yeah,
now and then I'll go in there and update it to keep everything safe.
that's what it did.
I did, Tasha. So the there there is a town and it does not look the same. They built over it. You know, Hawaii has grown, and the part of the island that I lived on was really different. But there was a town that we used to go shopping at. It was a very, very small country town, you know, chickens crossing the road and stuff. And there used to be a train that Melanie, yes, I'm invalid. There used to be a train that ran through that town, and it was a sugar plantation. And they said that the train that there was a lot of people that died on the train because there were these posts that would come out, and the people were so tired and they got too close to the train tracks, and the posts would gouge them and drag them off. And my dad used to say that you could drive down one of the roads and would see spirits, and that there were a lot of people that hung them, you know. But I swear one night, and I think it was my dad that just got me scared. We were driving one evening and there was a lot of trees and a lot of shadows. And I swear I saw things floating around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I swear I saw them floating around. Isabel was so pretty. My daughter was a pretty baby. She was a pretty spider monkey. I mean, that's it. My daughter was a pretty spider monkey. Good morning, Joyce.
Yeah, Andrew grew up with the old black and white ones with Godzilla and King Kong.
I remember Godzilla. In fact, my grandson asked me, my oldest grandson asked me if I like the Godzilla movies, and I said, "Yeah, I like the old ones.
Yeah.
I don't like the new ones." Judy, you think so? Well, we'll have a conversation offline about that sometime, Judy, because good morning, Aunt Beck, because I can tell you some things.
Hey,
My
Becky. Ah.
I remember the day my grandmother passed away. My Puerto Rican grandmother, who was very, very close to my sister. And my sister, you know, we were really poor. We had a small house. We shared rooms. So I shared rooms with my sister. And
Good morning, Joyce Hernandez. Well,
good
look
morning.
at there.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm glad you're getting back into the sewing today.
So am I.
Do you want to introduce yourself to anybody?
I'm saying other people probably don't know who you are.
Oh, my name is Sandy and I'm from Massachusetts. And I'm excited to be here.
We don't get too many that actually want to come on camera with us.
Well, I don't want to come on camera. It was a mistake. I was trying to sign up for Discord. So I'm saying bye-bye.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, you look beautiful. Thank you for your brief pop in.
yes, yes.
Hi, everybody.
Bye.
So embarrassing.
Oh no, you're fine. It would have been if it would have been embarrassing if you were like you didn't have any clothes on or something. But you're fine.
Good point. Thank you. Bye, ladies.
See,
Bye. Oh, let me help her in. Okay, that was interesting. We like pop-ups. I don't even remember what I was saying now. Oh, the night my grandmother died, we were sleeping, and I remember waking up and seeing my grandmother, and I didn't know she was sick. I remember seeing my grandmother
hi, Shirley.
coming into the room and stroking my sister's hair, in just a loving way. And it was a very peaceful thing. I wasn't scared, anything at all. And who is Shirley saying bye to? But
I
I
don't know because I
but
never saw her say hi.
but I remember her stroking my sister's hair, and then the next morning I found out that my grandmother had passed away. And so I think my grandmother as she was transitioning, was trying to tell her favorite granddaughter goodbye.
Yeah,
So,
Shirley was probably saying bye to Sandy.
oh, okay. I don't even know how Sandy found her way up here. I didn't post the link, did I? Did I put the wrong link in there? But anybody
Well, that could have been. It could have been because Melanie said something about it's right below the other comment, and
Mm. Tasha, if you keep the camera on your face, you won't need a bra. True.
oh
True.
yeah, you don't need a bra. I
Mm.
don't hardly ever wear a bra anymore.
TMI. Oh, Judy said, yes, you did. Yes, you did what, Judy? Yeah, my grandmother used to tell me I was touched. My other grandmother used to tell me I was touched, whatever that meant.
Melanie, now you know you wanted to know that.
So now you can play.
I just never show myself down that far that you can notice.
Good morning, Nikki. Glad to have you on
Nikki.
this morning.
Nikki's my buddy.
I'm thinking that I'm hoping both Sherry and Mona are very talkative on her live at 11 o'clock, because I don't know how long my voice is going to last.
Last week, mine did good until last Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And then my voice was gone.
Let's see that.
Nikki B is my buddy, and I'm so glad they got the good news, and she's getting ready to go on a cruise.
She is. I'm so excited for her. What are we, 8 days away now? 7 days?
Yeah, 7 or 8.
Yeah, and the flying is going to be fine. Being on that airplane is going to be fine. Everything is just going to be fine. You're going to enjoy yourself, and you're going to wish you could do it again, and that it didn't end so quickly.
Oh, look at there. Andrea has a similar story.
Yeah, so I don't have that type of experience. I don't have there's not apparitions or anything. I always see them in my dreams. It's always in my dreams. Um, and people believe what they want to believe, or, naysayers. All I know is what I have experienced, and I know that in every experience has been a good experience. But I do know that one time my grandfather, who was close, my grandfather and I were close, and he lived on another island. So we got to see him once a year. They would fly down and stay with us. But I remember cutting class. I cut class to go hang out with my friends at the mall, and I did that bad thing where I signed my parents' signature. My parents' signature gave me a day excuse, but I remember having a dream about my grandfather that night, and all it was my grandfather and I were sitting down, and it was an unfamiliar room, but we were sitting down having conversation, talking, just catching up, just what we normally do. And the next day, I got in trouble for cutting class. My mom said I cut class. And it wasn't because the school called, it was because my grandfather told my mother that I had gone to visit him. And
Oh,
that I sat down and we talked for a long time. That's how my mother found out that I cut class, was because my grandfather said that I visited, and he was in the hospital. I didn't know he was in the hospital, but she said that I visited, that I cut class, went down to go see him in the hospital, and he was on the island that we were on, at the hospital, and he told them that I went there and we talked, and told her what we talked about. I never went to see him, so that's kind of freaky. That's kind of freaky.
Streamlabs has another one that doesn't go anywhere.
Which one?
It says check out user here at, and then it gives a channel, but there's nobody there.
I don't know. I went in and I was messing with Streamlabs and Nightbot, and I think Nightbot and Streamlabs do not play together nicely all the time. So if you click on the Nightbot links, the Nightbot links should work. I don't know what's going on with Streamlabs. And to tell you the truth, I don't have time to figure it all out. Joe, is that a freaky story? I have many. I have many. So, yeah, I have many stories like that, and I get in trouble for it. I used to get in trouble. I'm not that way much anymore. Um, Andrew said my grandmother was very spiritual, a Cherokee who was converted to Christianity when she was a child. She made sure we grew up knowing both sides of her faith and her conversion. Hi, Jim. Yeah, to me, it's just a way. I think it's just a way of loved ones, people who you love a lot, of reaching out, saying goodbye, or maybe you're on the same pathway. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, because you know, but all but one have always been a good experience.
Yeah, the Nightbot links work. I was just checking them.
Yeah, I think it's Streamlabs that I don't know what's going on. I need to just turn it off and let Nightbot do its.
Streamlabs looks like you put it in the way you do the Nightbot ones.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it, so I might turn that portion off of the Streamlabs. Some of this tech stuff, it just takes a lot of time to set up, and I can set up I can work on that, or I can sew. I choose to sew. Nikki B said she had some odd things happen to her when her son died. It's still dark. You want to come and say hi to the people? He didn't want to say hi. He left. Oh, wait.
I know. I heard the door.
You have to tell Deb hi.
Hi, hon.
Hi,
Did you hear him?
Uh-huh.
Hi, hon.
I'm going to get him on camera one day.
He's my sweetheart.
Oh, he's so funny when it's just you, me, and Mona sewing.
Yeah.
When it's just us three sewing or something.
Yeah. He'll say things that he wouldn't say any other time.
Yeah, he tells on me. He tells them all my secrets. Oh, so what are people?
Nikki, I didn't know that your son died.
I did not know that either.
She said she had some odd things happen when he died.
Yeah, I think people just reach out and they have a way of connecting with you. And I think that some people are just a little bit more sensitive to it than others. And maybe, they say that children are very, very sensitive, and dogs. Georgie, you need to be in that room. I don't. He's so used to Mona and Deb because we used to sew before we did all the Discord thing. Before I
Yeah,
did all the
before we
Discord.
did that, yeah, we were together like 24/7.
Yeah, and so it was like he was married to me, and my sisters were over the house, and we were loud. We were always loud.
He was always saying, "You need to get quiet in there.
Yes.
You're really, really loud."
Oh, that was recent, Nikki. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, I think that's one of the worst things that can happen is that your children die before you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's that in such a young age. I remember Sheila, and we don't see Sheila very often. Not Sheila WC, but Sheila Gage.
Sheila Gage, yeah.
And it was heartbreaking when she lost her son. It's
Oh
been
my gosh, that was horrible.
Yeah, I think it's been what, 2 years now?
And he was 45,
Mm-hmm.
44, 45.
Yeah, it's just so heartbreaking. So it's so heartbreaking.
Yep.
I was telling my husband about my uncles. My dad was the youngest of 13 kids, and many of his brothers and sisters have passed away at a young age because you just didn't live. There were some diseases that it was not survivable. But I'm so sorry. So what are y'all doing today? Are y'all planning on hanging out with us at 11 o'clock? I really don't have much to say, Deb. I don't have much to talk about.
I
I'm
can't believe that.
Yes. Yes, he was my grandmother, who was from Puerto Rico. She was married. I think her husband was she got married when she was 13 or 14. She was young,
Hmm.
and she married a man that was 30 years older than her, had multiple children, and then he passed away, and she was remarried a couple years after, and then she had a whole slew of children. So she started early. But there were 13 of them, and my dad was the youngest of all 13. Most of them lived to a good long life. I mean, my dad died at 100. My grandmother died at 98, 99. Some of them, and the ones who did not live long, passed away from cancer.
Nikki says it was unexpected when her son died. He died 6 months after she lost her dad.
Oh, it's so hard it's so hard.
When I lost my dad, I was just devastated because I was daddy's girl.
Joyce, you plan on finishing another quote you started? I knew a woman once who lost all her children. She lost her husband, and she's passed on now, but she lost her husband,
Hi,
and
Tasha.
she had two girls and a boy, and the boy passed away early in life, and then she had two daughters, and one daughter died in a car crash, and the other one died of breast cancer.
Mm.
and so she was alone. She was alone.
Horrible. Horrible.
Yeah, and I think she was in her 70s when her daughter passed away, and that was real. She wasn't with us very much longer after that. I think she just
No.
kinda grieved herself.
Dawn says her sewing plans yesterday were derailed, so she's doubling down today. First up, basting a quilt.
Interesting, Nikki. Interesting. Oh, Nikki B
No.
was a dead. We just kinda stopped to read Nikki B's chat.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And if you watch the replay, you can go back. If you wait 24 hours, the chat is always there, so you can always watch. But sometimes we get quiet because there's a lot of things being mentioned in chat, and I do not highlight
And
chat.
I scroll up. I scroll up so I can read it, and then I'm behind.
Yeah, and I do not highlight chats for a personal reason, and my personal reason is I do not ever want anybody to feel like I ignored them. So if I don't highlight anybody's, then nobody feels ignored.
Yeah, yeah. I don't highlight.
Yeah, Andrea,
But I have Nightbot now. I got that figured out finally. And Lisa and Mona are no longer invalid invariables.
yep, no, I'm just invalid. I was thinking about Jess the other day. Jess is doing this. She's incubating some chicks.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's cool.
I was watching this Instagram reel, was a YouTube short, or from TikTok or whatever. They're all the same. But I was watching it, and they were talking about this woman had the egg prices were so high. This woman offered this other woman eggs from her backyard, from her own chickens. And the other woman was like, "Well, these are so unclean. Why are they dirty? Why are they have feathers? Why do you have them sitting on the counter? Why aren't they in the refrigerator?" So the woman turned down the eggs,
Uh,
thinking that they were not good to eat. And I'm like, "Well, that's the freshest eggs you're gonna get. What do you think they look
yeah,
like before they take a bath?"
yeah.
Oh, Zaz is hoping that Hugo goes to sleep so she can take a nap and get some sewing done.
Joydy wound all her bobbins, cleaned her machine, and got her projects ready for today.
Yes, yes. Sometimes I like to watch lives and I don't comment. I'll just because I can sew and it's like company in the sewing room.
Yeah. There's a lot of times I go into a chat, but I don't chat. Nobody even knows I'm there.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And there were actually times when Mona and Deb and I used to sew together that we didn't really talk a lot. I mean, we would make a comment here or there, but we were busy working on our project, ironing stuff, and
Mhm.
it was just for company, but had it in our head we were going to get things done.
Yep.
I'm all ready to go if he just will shut his eyes.
Oh,
Zaza is going to be with us on Saturday, not this coming Saturday, because William and Jess is going to be with us on Mona's, but the week after, when it's Deb's turn, Zaza's going to be with us. Looking forward.
Zaza's becoming a star on mine. Oh. How do they know you are there? They don't know.
Yeah, I lurk on many channels. Now, sometimes if I have my phone close by, I will go ahead and make a comment and say I'm lurking, and then you won't hear from me anymore. But other times, I don't even make a comment. So I know if you're talking about me. Like I'm the only thing on your minds and you have to discuss me.
Yeah. There's
Zaza,
a lot of times that I'll put on somebody's live and I don't say hi or nothing because then I'm going over to my sewing machine and I'm just sewing. I'm listening to what's going on, but I'm sewing.
right. And there's some lives where you get lost in the chat. I mean, there's just so much chat, you can't keep up with it. And it's almost not worth chatting.
Look at Zaza. I only go on Deb's lives.
That's just the way it worked out. And you could have come on yesterday if I had seen the Discord message, but I didn't see the Discord message, or you could have joined us. You could have saved me from Deb because I was being bossy and yelling at her.
Yeah. And my machine knows it and it just went bloop. I was looking at patterns yesterday. I think I'm going to do this one here.
Mm-hmm. Let me make you bigger.
This one right here.
That looks neat.
But I'm not using those colors. I have
That would look good in Tula.
a 3-yard bundle here. If I can get a hold of it. Why can't I get a hold of it? Oh, because I'm grabbing other stuff too. Okay. I want to use this one as my focal. Is that right side up? Yeah.
What is that? What is that?
Bicycles with flowers in the basket.
Oh, I guess if I put my glasses on correctly, I could have seen it. That's pretty.
So I want to use that as my focal. And then, so that'll be the big blocks. And then for the half square triangles that are going around that block, I have gray. And this will be the border too. And then for the other, I have this one. And that's going to go as the background and then the inner border and the binding.
Nice. Nice.
So, yeah, that's what I was doing yesterday after our live. I was looking at that before I went out and started watching TV.
Well, I have a
Well, good morning, Lori. Thank you.
Oh, good morning, Lori.
What
I have a product.
That's the Christmas book. Make it Christmas.
I want to do the one that So Terry shared.
See, that one has poinsettias in it, and I have poinsettias, but I don't want to do it in those colors. I want to use this bicycle fabric. And I was looking at all of them, and
well, did you see the one that Terry dropped the link for on Discord? I think it was a 3-yard quilt from them.
Oh, no, I haven't looked at it.
It's a free, it's one of their free patterns that they drop for. So she dropped the link to share the link. And that one is really cute. And I'm thinking about doing that one for a charity quilt because it's real easy. And I've got some fabric I need to use up. Plus I have a toy that I need to practice on before I work on some other quilts.
Well, I want to work on that one, Nikki. And I also have the kit for Melody Lane.
And you're starting Singing in the Rain.
And we're starting Singing in the Rain.
Yes.
I was looking at fabric for that because I don't have nothing picked out. Still. And then no, I forgot. I lost my whole train of thought there. Oh, I know. I really wanted to do some of the boots with polka dot fabric, but I don't have
Mhm.
polka dot fabric.
I got lots of polka dots.
I know. I looked all over here. I do not. The only ones I have is the backgrounds, with the Swiss dots on it.
Hmm.
That's all I have. And the white fabric with the multicolored dots on it, that's what I'm using as background for it. So,
I think I think that they are starting Singing in the Rain tomorrow, right,
yeah.
Jim? And then probably you can whenever Mona. I don't know if she has a set time on her Wednesdays yet. I know it's probably about 2, so you could probably work on it with her.
Yeah. You can work on it in Discord, wherever you want.
Joy
But we're
T.
starting tomorrow, but I don't have nothing cut out. I don't even have definite fabrics yet.
Oh, good, Giovanna. Thank you. And Joy T is trying to send me practice quilts. Well, okay. So the thing comes with a stitch regulator, and it also has a manual mode. I have never used a stitch regulator, so that's kind of scary to me because I don't, you kind of get in a rhythm when you free motion quilt and you know your rhythm. And it's going to be, I want to use the stitch regulator function so I don't have to worry so much about the speed in which I'm going and the timing. So there's gonna be a learning curve on that. But I was thinking I could do an edge to edge now with the new machine, the way that it's set up, I could
Uh-huh.
technically
Uh-huh.
do an edge to edge if I wanted to do
Yep.
it because I normally work block by block.
See, now
Um,
I'm ready for the cutie to come out of the box, but my husband isn't.
what is Zaza and Melanie? They are fine for baby quilts, but I like to do bed size quilts even for kids.
I just used the 3 yard as a guide.
Bye, Jim. Thanks for stopping.
Bye, Jim. Um, it's only this size for in the books. I just double it
Hmm.
because when I buy fabric, I normally buy 2 yards at a time for whichever fabric I'm getting. And that's how mine get bigger. But
Well, mm,
that one is staying that size.
so Melanie, when you sew on your sewing machine, when you free motion quilt on your sewing machine, when you take your foot off the pedal, it stops too. So that is, and I always stop in the needle down position. I never stop with the needle up because I want to be able to fix my quilt. But when you do the manual process, when everything is new and a bit different, it will be easier. Yeah, Zaza, so I want to be able to use that stitch regulator. So I'm not really concerned the so I can do ruler work because I've not been able to do ruler work on my domestic. There's just not enough space, even with an 11-inch throat space. There's just not enough space for me to use a ruler. The shank is just too small. So the stitch regulator will help with that.
Barry says he put his cutie breeze together last week, but it's just sitting there. See? I'm not the only one. But at least he got it out of the box.
What machine are you going to use with it, Barry? Barry says, Melanie, now I want a little rebel. And I think I ended up getting the Moxie. Somebody asked me that earlier. Was it Joy T? Who asked me that? Judy. Judy, and I ended up getting the Moxie 20. She is going to be, I've already decided she was a female. Um, but she is going to be she's a sit down machine, so she is fixed. She will not be on rollers. And the table size is 38 and it extends out to 64 inches. So I'm looking forward to it. But it's a Moxie 20 sit sewing table. So it's fixed, but then I can raise it up if I want to do stand up sewing. It's just I'll need help to raise it up.
Zaza says, Barry, you're still ahead of Deb.
He is. He is. Now, Barry, when he was on Sean's live a couple weeks ago, one of the key things he said was that you don't know what you don't know, so you're willing to try everything because you don't
Yeah.
know that you're doing it wrong. And I think that's the approach we all need to take, even if we've been sewing for a year, 2 years, 37 years, and you don't know what you don't know, and you really need to just try it.
Zaza says she needs an extra hand for ruler work. 2 arms aren't enough.
I'm really hoping that with the higher shank and the stitch regulator, because when I use rulers on my domestic and I push it through, my stitches are really small. And if you ever had to or pick out them stitches because they're just too tight, that's not fun. I remember that time I picked out my grandson's quilt, and I picked for days and days and days. Oh, Joy T and Deb, I'm not leaving you out of the mix. Get that cutie up and run and practice quilts. Are on the way. Oh, see? Deb has a pile of her own that she needs to practice on.
Well, I got a whole pile that I need to do, but I need to practice first. And that's where this one comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Because this one has the mini side panels with it.
What you need to do is pick your what you need to do is pick your least attractive quilt, sandwich it together, and do those L loops that you do very well.
Yeah, I do them really good.
Meander with them L loops, and if anything, you will have a finished quilt at the end.
Yeah, I like that.
And we will be able to watch you do it.
I like the L's. I like the L's and the E's.
Mm-hmm.
Because my mom's name had L's in it. And I loved her handwriting, so I always practiced it. Plus, sometimes I needed notes from my parents. So I copied her handwriting.
Judy, I actually
can do L's and I can do E's really well. And I can go backwards and upside down.
Yeah, so you can meander with L's and E's. I mean, and that would make a beautiful thing because you want it looser anyway, so you can use it.
Bye, Jess.
Bye, Jess. See you later. See you tonight. Jess is on at 8:00 tonight, Eastern time.
Yeah.
Make sure you go and visit her.
Judy says to make sure you're using long arm rulers and a ruler foot.
I actually have Angela Walters rulers, and I do have a ruler foot that I put on my domestic. I did purchase a ruler foot for the new machine when it gets here, but it's just really hard for me on a domestic. I just could not do ruler work on the domestic. Scrappy quilts hide a lot too. Then wash it. Yes, I agree, Lori. So that's what we're going to do, Deb, is we're going to get you on your most least attractive quilt. We're going to get you to sandwich it and do just some L's and E's and finish it.
I don't have no ugly quilt.
I said the least attractive, not the ugly.
I don't have no least attractive either. Even before I found my 1/4 inch,
Uh-huh.
I still like all of those tops too.
Yeah,
Practice
Judy.
on cheap muslin. Well, that's why I figured I'd work on this Dream Big because it has the small ones too, so I could maneuver on those.
Yeah, and true, because if you put batting on it, if you sandwich it together, you
Yeah.
can you can practice, and then you can cut it down to placemat size. Bend it.
Well, these ones they're like this big,
Mm-hmm.
and I have spare batting that I've cut
Mm-hmm.
off of other ones
Mm-hmm.
that I can use.
I don't use pantographs, and I do not think I'd be able to use pantographs on this machine because there's nothing to follow. When you have the long arm, you can kind of follow, but there's nothing for me to follow. And I don't use the
Looks
rulers.
like Andrea wants a table like what you just bought. She wants a table with the machine built in. The machine is stationary and you move the quilt.
So that's what
Zaza. Zaza says, Lisa, Deb doesn't do ugly on her quilts. They're all beautiful.
well, I can tell you, I have some less than attractive quilts when I first started out, less than attractive. And when I first started free motion quilting, they were less than attractive too. I mean, I had stitches, my stitches were all over the place, and everybody's correct. Once you wash them, they are fine and they are comfortable, but it wasn't going to win any show. And Andrea, I purchased my machine from SMP. They gave me a wonderful deal. I mean, wonderful, wonderful deal. I could not pass it up. And when I told my husband and compared it to pricing on other places, he's like, just get it. Just get it.
Yep.
And it'll be here
Rita from Rita's Roost, she does pantographs too. She stands up behind the long arm and does the pantographs all the way across.
I did not know
Laser.
what is it? I did not know what Lisa built. I'm behind from being sick. I'm not really. I haven't built anything. I don't think.
Sandwich 2 1-yard pieces of fabric wrong side out and use that to practice on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have ugly fabric either.
I have less than attractive fabric.
Lisa gets the ugly fabric from Soya.
Jean, how are you?
Good morning, Jean. How are you?
She was forging her mom's name on a couple of notes.
I could do my mom's name writing and I could do my dad's. My dad wrote real tiny.
Yeah, my husband writes really small. He has that military writing, and he said that all military men write about the same. It's like block letters, and it's really tiny across the page.
Really tiny, yes.
And he said
my dad was Army.
Yeah, and he said it's because you do so many journal entries and everything else, and the space that you have is really small. So, yeah, Jean. Sometimes, Jean, I don't think you're a rule follower. I think you pretend to be a rule follower. But we know the truth, Jean. We know the truth.
Okay, I'm done with coffee today.
I need to be done with coffee. You know what I got to do next Saturday?
What?
I have to scrub my porch down.
Oh, get a power washer.
Well, my husband has a power washer, and he is going to power wash. He's going to pressure wash. He's going to pressure wash the whole house. But I have to go out there and clean the inside because there's so much pollen. It's screened-in porch, and there is pollen on everything. And there's a specific portion, like the ceiling or the roof, that you can't do because the water will get up underneath the light
Yeah.
socket.
Yeah.
And we did that once, and all I had was sparks. And we don't need it to go the way of the oven. I
I
mean,
say, Lisa's not good when it comes to sparks and flames.
no, we don't need it to go the way of the oven. So that's what I have to do next Saturday. Not going out shopping or anything else. I have to go out there and do manual labor. And I have to pull a few plants up. Let's see. Andrew wants to know, have you ever quilted on the backside of a quilt? I love doing that. I do not get distracted by the front of the quilt. I have actually free motion quilt on the backside of a quilt because I have a specific pattern. I have gray on my back, and that is what I want to focus on when the people look at the back side of the quilt. But it's only been small. I've never done it on a large quilt.
Andrea says we need to nickname Lisa Sparky.
I am horrible, y'all. I am horrible. I don't like electrical things to begin with. I don't like dealing with electrical things. I'm not very good at it. Oh, she can't stand long enough in front anymore from her vintage grays. I'm just not good at it. And electricity and I do not get along. And it said that I've done that on my domestic, but not on my long arm. There's a couple of people who I've seen just take 2 pieces of fabric, background fabric, and just quilt the 2 things without actually piecing anything together, but quilting that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched people on YouTube where they go across and they make a little box, and then they only work inside that box on one certain pattern. When they get that all done, they go to the next box and they do a different design.
Well, those women that do the trapunto, is that how it's called? They do the trapunto quilting, and they'll use fabric, a solid fabric, or with a tone on tone or something with just a very, very minimalist design. And they build up their quilt by using trapunto or doing trapunto. And I don't even know how they do it. And it's just it's really pretty. The patterns are really pretty. What does Melanie say?
She says the reason you do that is to see if your tension is good.
She's like that experiment from one of the Stitch movies. Yeah. So, well, when I check my tension, I check it outside of the border because I always leave 3 inches. I don't know how I'm going to do it with the new machine. I'll have to play with it. But when I sandwich a quilt right now, and I free motion quilt on my domestic, I pin, because I can't spray, but I pin my sandwich together, pin baste it. And then on my domestic, I take a 5-inch stitch all the way on the outside borders or the edges so that it's basted down, or whatever you call it. And then I always have that 3-inch working room so you can hold it when you get toward the edge. But that's where I test my tension, is right on those edges. And if everything looks good, then I bring up my needle and move it to start at the middle block. I always start at the middle block.
Good morning, Donna Dixon.
Good morning, Donna. I don't know. It's 8:30, Deb. Are you ready to wind this up so we can have some time before we get to Mona's?
Fine with me. Yeah, I got to finish sandwiching that thing over there. I'm making a mat for when I do get that cart.
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing you use it because I think you're going to do really, really well on that cutie. I think you're going to enjoy it.
I just did labs yesterday and want to ask my doc about it. What brand do you use? I use Libre, the lifestyle one.
Oh, where's the M? That is
And this you can only use on the back of your arm. The Dexcom, you can use it on your stomach. And I only use one arm because I sleep on this arm. I sleep on my left side. So I put it on the back of my right arm. We just move it around every 2 weeks.
Bye, Annette. Hope you can join us at 11. And Jean, that M on the wall that you see, this used to be the kids' bedroom, the grandkids' bedroom that I stole from them. I put them in the smaller bedroom, and it was originally my office and my sewing space. But that was an art project that I did with the kids. There's actually a couple of other letters, and Jeb was asking me about this one that says "Love You More." That was just something we put up in the kids' room when they were here, because I always tell the kids I love them more. And I've left it up in the room. It has color to it.
Joydy uses the Libre too.
I think I don't know what my husband uses whatever the military, because my husband has to check his blood sugar, but he doesn't have to check it daily.
Yeah, that's the way my husband is. He checks his once a week.
Yeah, and I just
and I look at him and I say, well, how do you know what your blood sugar's doing if you only check it once a week at the same time every week?
Yeah, that's all my husband has to do it, and he does the little pinprick, thing, and it's once a week, and I will normally check it, have it set out for him to check it at lunch once a week, and that's because his blood sugar is high, but it's not at the highest level. And he exercises all the time, and even if he watches his diet, so I think it's genetic. I don't think it is.
My husband's isn't that high. He was on metformin for a while, but that affected his bowels. So he told the doctor, I'm not taking that no more.
I think that might be what my husband is on, is metformin. And then, yeah, but it's whatever the military, because one of the things about the VA is they will send you, like, one day you have this, 1 month you'll have your 3-month supply of this, and the next time you get something, it's a different brand. It's like his inhalers were always changing.
Yes, and I don't know what the criteria is, but every time it's a different brand is what it is. Yeah, but now the Libre, I go through US Med.
Okay, I'm fine.
For these. And I get the sensors and the reader from them. I do the Freestyle too.
Yeah, my husband only has to check once a week. And then I think it's every 6 months he goes to the base and he has to get blood work done, and then he gets a nurse's call. And like this month he has to go to the VA to just get a full blood workup.
Yeah, I do the blood work every 6 months. Yeah.
8 Ball is weird. 8 Ball is from the 70s.
Yeah.
8 Ball is a surfer dude, I think, because I don't know what he's saying sometimes.
Joydy says she has to go on Joe's channel to win something. Well, Joydy, I think that whenever Joe makes something, She should just make 2 extra and just send to you and me because we're the ones that win the most over there.
I never win on anybody's giveaway. I've only ever won on Mona's.
Oh.
But I never win on anybody's giveaway. I'm not lucky like
Yes,
that.
Nikki. I used to be on metformin too, but it affected my muscles too. And that's the reason I quit taking the metformin. And I told him, I said, you got to find something else because I am not taking that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I just got this from Joe. I won this last week. I picked the, it's a gray truck with daisies coming out of the back end of it. Very cute.
I like that one. I really do. I really love that fabric.
I made a couple years ago. I made a big one like this one, and then I made a smaller one too. And one of those two I'm going to give to my oldest brother because every time we have a family phone call once a month.
Mm-hmm.
And every time he's on there, he holds it down because he says his arm gets tired of holding his phone. Then all you see is up his nose.
Well, Barry, you started a weight loss adventure before you started quilting. So to help with that, and you really do need to stay active in some way and not do like I do, which is eat everything.
Yeah, Barry, mine started out in the 12s, but that was back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and it took a long time before I agreed to take insulin. They kept trying me on all the different pills and everything, and nothing was helping me. But I had to be in the mind to take the insulin. I was deathly afraid of needles, and so giving myself shots was horrifying.
I'm going to have to go on cholesterol medicine.
I had to go on that when I had the heart attack.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go on cholesterol because I do not exercise enough to maintain, the cholesterol levels, and I eat too many carbs because I like carbs, and I'm not good with it. I'm very obsessive about certain things, but certain things in life I don't want to give up.
That's
everything
right.
in life.
Right.
And
Nikki, I'm on Monjaro too.
But I think my doctor's he's been working with me to try to maintain it. I think over the last 2 years, and my cholesterol levels are still a little high. And I'm just going to say, you know what? Just give me the meds. Just give me the meds because I want the pie and I want the pasta.
Yeah. Nikki and Barry, I'm down 100 pounds. So
yeah.
I have more than 100 to go.
Artichoke tea. Why can't I just eat an artichoke?
Yeah, Andrea, I use the pens now too. I used the vials for a long time, but now I'm using the pens.
And if there are any young people that are watching this video, either now, lurking, or in the future, look at what you get to talk about when you get older.
Yeah.
Look at the conversations you have.
And you have the answers to a lot of the questions, let me tell you.
So everybody has cholesterol. Yeah, I'm just gonna give in and say I'm most obsessive about a lot of things. I do not want to obsess over my weight.
No.
That I want to be healthy, but there are just too many things I want to do. And I don't want to have to worry about how many carbs everything I put in my mouth is, or, and my husband needs to eat. My husband is very active. He has a very active job and he needs to eat. Yeah. And I can't there's only 2 of us. I'm not going to make 2 separate meals,
Jean, it qualifies for me because I'm older than you. So you're still a young people.
Jean, you're older than me. You're older than me. So you're in the senior category.
Oh, that's funny. See, when I first started losing the weight, I just cut out a lot of my carbs. I cut them down. I cut
Mhm,
down portion size. I cut down on. I still ate my carbs,
mhm.
but I cut down on them. And now I'm at the point where I'll check my sugar, and that will tell me if I can have a bun with my hot dog or my hamburger, or if I got to eat it without it.
See, I'm like Nikki B. I'm a stress eater. I also eat in boredom. So if I'm having a
Yeah,
very
I eat for boredom. Yeah,
yeah, so if I'm having a very boring day at work, no, and I'm not saying boring that there's not work. It's just I'm working in very tedious things. I'm on those spreadsheets and stuff.
yeah.
I like it to have something to munch on, and I don't want to munch on a carrot. I
Oh,
mean, that's
right.
it.
I want crunchy, but I don't want a crunchy carrot.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
So that's my problem, and I'm trying to reduce it. And since I moved my office into my bedroom, I'm actually doing better because I do not eat in my bedroom.
yeah.
So I'm
You see, I had that foot reconstructive surgery done, and I
mhm,
could not move for 3 months. I mean, I had to use that knee scooter and everything, and
mhm,
I couldn't get around because I couldn't put any pressure on my leg. So I sat around a lot, and that's when
mhm.
I gained all the weight.
My m That's where I'm gaining my weight from is sitting down and
Yeah,
working. It When I was in the office, I love working from home. Would not trade it for anything. Love working from home. But when I was in the office setting, I was forced to have to get up and walk, what seemed like a gazillion miles to a restroom or to have a see somebody down at their office. So there was constant movement. Well, I don't have to walk that far to go to the restroom at home, and the refrigerator is very close to me, and so is my pantry. I don't have to go to a store and buy goodies, it's available.
yeah.
Butterfinger and Snickers were her go-to. I'm not a very big candy eater,
I
but
love Snickers, but that wasn't on my list when I went to the
yeah.
grocery store because I knew if I bought it, it would be gone by the next day.
Yeah, I like those mixes, where you have a little
The
bit of
trail mix,
crackers,
yeah,
a
the
little bit
trail
of
mix.
yeah, a little bit of crackers, some M&Ms, and before you know it, you've eaten the whole bag and you're wondering what happened. That 8 serving bag has become 1 serving.
Berry's cute. I got my eyes from my dad, my nose from my mom, and my gut from late night pizza.
And that's another problem I have because, we eat the biggest meal except on the weekends.
Yeah, well, we eat the biggest meal at supper every day.
It I On the weekends, I cook lunch. I make lunch, and that's our big meal, and then we'll have something smaller at night. At night, I'm so tired, so I'm eating a big meal, and then soon after that, I'm asleep. I'm tired. That food just got me tired, and
Yeah, Judy,
oh,
my favorite thing is chips. I love chips because they're crunchy and they're salty. I love salty. And
Reese's peanut butter cups,
we
yum.
had to just quit buying chips altogether because if it's not in the house, I don't eat them.
It's in my house. My husband has to have chips. My husband's a snacker too, but like I said, he has a very mobile job. He's moving around, he's burning all that off. My husband is a skinny mini.
Yeah.
He's burning it all off, and so he can eat the stuff. I do have to watch his sugar intake. He can't sit there and eat a whole half gallon of ice cream at one setting, but anyway, we're going to wrap it up because Deb and I have to go do things before 11 before we get
Yeah.
share Sherry is going to be on at 11, so I
Yeah,
hope
Sherry will be with us. So hopefully Sherry will do the talking.
yeah, because Sherry and Mona, Deb and I are depending on Sherry and Mona to talk.
I
Plus,
depended on them yesterday too. So
it's Mona's live, so
yeah, it'll be on Mona's channel.
So we can kind of lift up our head every once in a while, say, "Hey, I'm still here, still here, still alive."
Every once in a while, when I'm over there sewing and stuff, you'll see me go, or
yeah, I'm going to be sewing. I'm going to be sewing on the live and not talking as much. No yelling at Deb unless she's ignoring me. I need tension. I need tension
because I answered Zaza, and you're yelling at me because you say I didn't, and I said I did. If you
because
I didn't, you would have heard me.
That's right. If I wasn't yelling, I would have heard it. Yup.
Yeah.
Yup.
MDG. That fabric was from MDG.
I
need to get paid by these people because I'm constantly showing you their cards.
You should. You need to write with them, and you need to
I should at least be an affiliate.
You need to write to them and say every now and then they can just throw you a fat quarter bundle.
Yeah.
When they have those dollar sales, it won't hurt them too much to throw you a fat
bundle. I have bought 3 or 4.
Bye, Giovanna. But yeah, we're going to go and we will see you back in a couple of hours on Mona's and see what we can get into then.
Yep.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Hey,
Bye.